Hello everyone, this is a Notifier 4885 fire alarm control panel. These were first produced in the mid-1980s and were designed for small to medium-sized facilities. The 4885 was a more compact version of the 4800 series, which were first produced in the early 1980s. Both the 4800 and 4885 series panels were created when Notifier was owned by Emhart, but continued to see production after Notifier was acquired by Pitway Corporation in 1987. The 4885 is a solid-state conventional fire alarm control panel. Its modular construction allowed for a variety of different cards to be installed depending on the needs of the system. Various cards can be added or removed, allowing for easy expansion and other modifications. With each card being customizable, specialized functions like agent release and selective signaling, amongst many others, can be achieved. This 4885 was configured for a pre-action sprinkler system. So for this demo system, on the table, we have a Realock 7002T horn strobe, an MBG10L pole station, and a Realock 46T 6B24WS bell strobe. Down here, we have a system sensor 1451 ionization smoke detector, a system sensor 5451 heat detector, and a system sensor 2451 photoelectric smoke detector. Pre-action systems may be used in data centers or museums with rare artifacts, or in any case where accidental sprinkler activation is undesirable. This system was configured as a double interlock system, which means two alarm conditions must be met to allow water to flow through the sprinkler pipes. In this system, there's a smoke detector loop and a low air pressure loop. Both smoke detectors are part of the detector zone, and for the low pressure zone, the heat detector and the pole station will fill in as a low pressure switch. For signaling, the 7002T is on the general bell circuit, which activates for any alarm condition, and the bell strobe is on the releasing solenoid, which only activates when both zones are in alarm. So let's begin by activating the pole station and one of the smoke detectors. Signals are silenced. With the door closed, the water flow zone is an alarm, the general fire alarm LED is flashing, and the bell silence LED is also lit. Now let's activate the 1451 smoke detector. This will resound the 7002T and activate the bell strobe. The bell strobe is not silenceable, so after smoking out, then clearing the detector, we can reset the system. Now the panel is back to normal. When the detector zone went into alarm, both zones were activated, which tripped the releasing solenoids and activated the bell strobe. In a real pre-action system, the sprinkler heads will be spraying water into the hazard area now, as both alarm conditions were satisfied. Now let's activate the system again using the 2451 smoke detector and the 5451 heat sensor. system is normal again. This time, the detector zone activated first, followed by the low pressure zone. In either case, once both zones were activated, the releasing solenoids were tripped, and the bell strobe was activated. The 4885 had two different cabinet sizes, a single row cabinet like this one, or a two-row cabinet. Excluding the power and main control cards, the single row cabinet could hold up to 2 additional cards, while the two-row cabinet could hold up to 6 additional cards. This panel is labeled as a pre-action deluge control panel. These were also labeled as a regular fire alarm control panel. Here is the inside of the panel. Over here is the PS24 power supply. This is a 3-amp model, so you have an AC input, a DC output, and a battery input. There's also a 6-amp version of this power supply, which features a second DC output. This connector here connects 2 terminals on the motherboard to this card here. This is a PM48 power monitor card. It supervises the power supply and also provides logic power to the rest of the system. Each card on the system has its own LED indicators. For the PM48, the green LED is for AC power on, the one below it is for AC power low or brownout, general power trouble, battery trouble, ground fault, and card missing. How cards are supervised on this panel is each slot on the motherboard has a jumper that must be cut if there's a card on it. Therefore, if any of these cards are missing, it shows up as a card missing trouble on the PM48. On the PM48, there's a little red jumper, and that's for battery supervision. It is currently set to off, meaning batteries aren't supervised. Therefore, there's no batteries, but there's also no battery trouble. Next is the CC48R Common Circuits card. This is the main control card for the system. It's got alarm and trouble relays on the top, and on the bottom, a master box or reverse polarity circuit and 2 regular signal circuits. On the CC48R, this top red LED indicates a shorted signal circuit or other output, signal circuit troubles 1 and 2, master box trouble, general system trouble, signal silence, and the bottom red LED is for general system alarm. There are 2 jumpers on the CC48R to configure the remote station output as either a master box or a reverse polarity circuit. Next up is the 2Z, 2W zone card. It has 2 initiating circuits. These are wired at the bottom, and both are wired as Class A. And on top are normally open alarm and trouble relays for each zone. For LEDs, each zone has its own alarm and trouble indicators. Last is the 2RZU universal releasing card. This is where the releasing solenoids are connected. On the top are the signal outputs. They could be wired Class A or Class B. And on the bottom, on the right side, are the power inputs for each releasing circuit. And on the left are the inputs to trigger the releasing circuits. For this system, both zones had to be activated for both of these releasing circuits to activate. On the regular signal circuit card, there would be a dip switch here to configure the signal circuits as either silenceable or non-silenceable, and whether to participate in drill. For the releasing card, these circuits are always non-silenceable and do not participate in drill. On some panels, like this pre-action system, a separate terminal block is provided to wire to devices. And here is a wiring diagram for this particular pre-action system. All 4885 panels have a system control panel with various switches for the operator to use. There's a drill switch, which is not configured on this panel, a master box disconnect. Again, the master box is not configured for this panel. It's also an LED test. Sounds the PA zone, activates all the LEDs, and then reset and silence. This 4885 is a small system, but with larger enclosures, many other cards can be added on the system. There are many different types of zone cards, 2 or 4 zones, with different relay patterns, and powered or non-powered zones. There's the TDMT time delay march time card, which can provide either time delayed outputs or march time coding. There's a CM coder module, which allows for customized coded outputs, and a 4RC relay module, which provides 4 Form C relays. The SCP-12 allows for supervision of remote annunciator lamps and relays, and is even a dial matrix card, which allows for customized input and output correlations. And that's it for the Notifier 4885. These panels were discontinued by the early 1990s, being replaced with microprocessor-based panels like the System 5000 and System 500. Like other MHART-era notifier panels, these are very rare nowadays. Nonetheless, if you happen to acquire one of these panels, these are very flexible panels thanks to their modular design. With their solid-state based design, the 4800 and 4885 panels are simpler and more durable than their modern fire alarm counterparts. Regardless, their card-based design allows for easy adaptation and customization of the fire alarm system, with more advanced functions possible using custom wiring and card combinations. In any case, if you have any questions or comments on the 4885, feel free to post them below. But until next time, have a nice day.